to worry about nothing. 'Cause we got the fire, and we burning one hell of a something. They're gonna see us from outer space, light it up. Like we're the stars of the human race. When the lights turning down, they don't know what they heard. Strike the march, play it loud, giving love to the world. We'll be raising our hands, shining up to the sky. 'Cause we got the fire, fire, fire. Yeah, we got the fire, fire, fire. And we're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. We're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. Gonna let it burn, 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 burn. We're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. We don't wanna leave, no. We just wanna be right now, right now. And what we see is everybody's on the floor acting crazy, getting loco till the lights out. Music's on, I'm waking up. We start the fire, then we burn it up. When we're sober now, we got the love. There's no sleeping now, no sleeping now. When the lights turn down, they don't know what they heard. Strike the march, play it loud, giving love to the world. We'll be raising our hands, shining up to the sky. 'Cause we got the fire, fire, fire. Yeah, we got the fire, fire, fire. And we're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. We're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. Gonna let it burn, 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 burn. We're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. When the lights turn down, they don't know what they heard. Strike the march, play it loud, giving love to the world. We're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. We can light it up, 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 so they can't put it out, out, out. We can light it up, 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 so they can't put it.
For yourself, but you hate the thought of a being with someone else, but you know that it's over. Yeah. Let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. Sending pages I ain't supposed to. Got somebody here, but I want you, 'cause the feeling ain't the same. Find myself calling her your name. Ladies, tell me, do you understand? Now my fellas, do you feel my pain? It's the way I feel. I know I made a mistake, now it's too late. I know she ain't coming back. What I gotta do now to get my shorty back? Ooh, 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 ooh. Man, I don't know what I'm gonna do without my boo. You've been gone for too long. It's been 11 days, umpteen hours. I'ma be burning till you return. When the feeling ain't the same in your body, don't want to, but you know that I let it go. 'Cause the party ain't jumping like it used to. Even though that's my groove, let it burn, you gon' learn. Gotta let it burn. Deep down you know it's best for yourself, but you hate the thought of a being with someone else. You know that it's over. Know it's over. Know it's through. Hey, baby. Ooh, girl, now I'm twisted, 'cause one side of me's telling me that I need to move on. On the other side, I wanna break down and cry. Ooh, I'm twisted, 'cause one side of me telling me that I need to move on. On the other side, I wanna break down and cry, yeah. Can you feel me burning? Can you feel me burning? Can you feel me burning? So many days, so many hours, I'm still burning till you return. When the feeling ain't the same in your body, don't want you, but you know, gotta let it go. 'Cause the party ain't jumping like it used to.
The Crucible, this is a furnace that is used for recycling purposes. And you may already be confused and say, wait a second, how do you recycle with a furnace? Well, what happens is trash gets cleansed in the fire. So it turns in, it gets broken down by the fire into its atomic parts, into carbon dioxide and ash and things of that nature. And then the ash can be returned to the soil and fulfill the cycle of life instead of sitting in a landfill and just piling up. So here's the trash, as you can see. It comes under here, through here, into the fire. You have some conveyor belts that will have to be heat resistant. And these are crucibles, right here, triangular crucibles, that would have scrap metal in them. And then the scrap metal hopefully melts into ingots. And then the ingots can be sold to industry at the arcology or other places. So yeah, there's also some ingots here, some crucibles here where some molten metal can drip in. This could be like metal or glass or something. Hopefully it doesn't fill up with ash, because then you get contaminants in the metal. This is all theoretical, I'm not an expert, but this is the direction that I think arcology should be headed in. So I can't stress that enough. I'm no expert with this process. Anyway, the exhaust gases go up here, and they go through these pipes to extract as much heat as possible before they go to a scrubber, which takes some of the toxins out using a waterfall system. So that it creates a waterfall that the air goes through, and the water pulls some of that soot out of the gases, and it accumulates in this puddle, and then that puddle can be that sludge water can be chemically treated and or returned to the soil. So here's another very important part of the system. Oh, by the way, there's walls here. I just want to make that clear. These would be heavily insulated. So if you go in this area, you're probably expecting an ambient temperature of like 200 degrees Celsius, like 400 degrees, something very, very hot. You would need a protective suit just to go in here. These are the battery banks for the grid of arcology. All of these are batteries. And why are they right next to the crucible, you ask? That's a very good question. These ideally are molten salt batteries, which is a type of battery that uses metallic salt, molten metallic salt, or molten metal batteries. I forget if it's salt or magnesium or something, but it's you use very cheap metals, and they have to be in a molten state. So I think it's like 400 degrees Celsius, something crazy like that, is the operating temperature of the battery. But so they're very heavy, and they don't have the greatest energy density. But what really draws me to using molten metal batteries for arcology is they have infinite discharge and recharge cycles. Infinite. So we're talking 1,000 years, you can still be using the same batteries as you were using in year one, which is seriously profound. And you might say, oh, well, its operating temperature is crazy, and that makes it a stupid idea. Yes, but we have the incinerator right here. So that operating temperature problem actually becomes a solution. So this crucible is an important part of this one video I've planned to make for a while that I'm going to write a script for. It's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a video on entropy and how entropy is the biggest challenge facing human technological civilization that it could possibly face, like greater than nuclear war, greater than World War III, greater than climate change and peak oil and all of that stuff. It's like, it's what arcology really has to face is entropy bearing down upon it. And these batteries and this incinerator are 2 big steps towards that goal, because we can't use lithium batteries that only get 2,000 charge cycles. If it's a charge and discharge every single day, that's less than 10 years. That's what is that, 6 years? 6 years we have to change out the entire battery bank for the entire city. That's just unacceptable. That's not acceptable. So, and then you're using up a lot of that lithium. Like, lithium is not perfectly recycled. I watched some videos, like 75% recovery for recycling lithium batteries. So you're losing 25% of all of that lithium every 6 years. Now, how many replacement cycles do you have in a 1,000 year kingdom? You have 160 replacement cycles in a 1,000 year kingdom. So now you can, if you lose 25% of your lithium every replacement cycle of the batteries, and there's 160 of them, just do the math. You're not going to have any lithium by the end of that 1,000 years. Whereas if we're using the molten metal batteries, we could be using the same batteries at year 1,000 as we were at year 1. And they'd be chugging along just fine. Maybe with material degradation, we might have to melt down the batteries and recast them. Oh no. We could melt them down right here. Look at how far the batteries need to move to be melted down and recast. So this chamber will be hopefully enough to melt aluminum at the very least. Most metals have a melting point of like I forget, it's like 1,000 C, something like that, 800 C. And then you have like steel and tungsten and things like that are much more difficult, and I don't think we're going to be able to achieve with this open pit burning. So once again, this is a very heavily insulated area. The insulation on this will be vastly thicker than any insulation on the actual arc, because we want this pressure differential between the outside air and this wall will be very large. We have approximately 300 C plus, maybe even 400 C. We would have to turn off the crucible for maintenance and then like vent the whole thing. So, because I don't know exactly how hot some of these protective suits can be, but yeah. So this is available to industry because this is the industry zone. This is the industrial zone, and we will be having these heat transfer tubes that come in here. Let's bring down the walls for you. You have these tubes to transfer heat from 300 C to the tubes. You can pump liquid through here to transfer the heat, just like the cooling system for Arc, really, except much shorter and much smaller and much higher temps. So, and then industry can use this these fluids that are heated up to like maybe 200 C from ambient temperature. So they save a lot on their electricity costs. They save a lot on their energy costs, and they remain hyper competitive and hyper energy efficient, which is the name of the game when you are designing a 1,000 year kingdom. It's all about using heat energy multiple times, using electricity energy multiple times, and making your systems as efficient as possible. Because then, not only are we recycling the trash, but we're also melting metal, and we're also keeping our battery banks hot, and then we're also heating up various materials for use in industry. I was thinking of having a facility for generating hydrocarbons in this area, in this vicinity, specifically things like methane and propane and stuff like that. And they require high temperatures and high pressures. So it would be very worthwhile to maybe put one of those facilities right here within the Crucible. So maybe half of this exterior areas right here, these trapezoids, half of these 6 trapezoids could be hydrocarbon generation, and then the other 3 trapezoids can be heat transfer systems for local industry. And those local industries can pay for that energy, pay for that heat. They could pay the arc for that heat, because after all, it is the trash of the arc that is generating that heat in the furnace. So that is the Crucible. It is not finished. It's quite complicated, and once again, I'm not an expert, so I can't guarantee all of this is accurate. But it's on the paper, it looks like a good idea, doesn't it? I'm sure we'll run into all kinds of problems and headaches in reality, but on paper, it's brilliant. So I don't think we'll feed trash from all 6 directions like this either. I just like this imagery. But that's it for this topic. We're starting to develop the industrial area a little bit, and there's so many facilities that will be added here that I'm just completely ignorant of, and it's based on the companies that move to the Ark. And I'm really excited to watch the industrial zone grow and evolve and turn into almost like another park, a park that celebrates science and chemistry and production and economics, instead of a pure amusement park. But so when this really fills out, we could have paths around here and you can go on tours. It'll be beautiful. Anyway, that's it. And remember, a single dream is more powerful than 1,000 realities.